Welcome to the podcast. This is Big Reptile Talk. Actually, like this episode, it's gonna be epic. It's got to be called Legend Talk because we got a legend in the building. But before we do anything, we gotta let you know that this episode is brought to you by Mile High Mutations. Go give them some love on Instagram. Check out they Morph Market producing some amazing ball pythons. Shout out to my boy over there, killing it. Hey, shout out to Morph Ambitions, man. Awesome guy producing quality animals, and he sells mulch. Two places in one. He's killing it, man. Go get some mulch from him. Go check out his animals. They are amazing. Shout out to my guy Paul over at Large Marge Morse. He's not producing anything right now, but he's gonna be an insane producer when he does make stuff. Shout out to my guy Mike over at MKL Exotics, man. Like, this dude's in Canada, but he supports the channel and he produces hog noses. Like, how can you not want a hog nose snake? So, shout out to my guy over there producing those amazing animals. Franz Critters, man, I love you, brother. He supports the channel. Podcast sponsor. This show is definitely brought to you by him, man. So, shout out to him. Go check out his Instagram. Give him some love. Man, Mad River Serpents and Rattery. Shout out to them, man. Producing amazing animals. Go check out their Instagram and Morph Market. And they also sell rats. Amazing animals, man. Go check them out. Give them some love. Man, what can I say about this brother right here? You already know ball pythons. Anybody will tell you I love the Exantic morph. Go give my brother some love. Check out his morph market. Like, look at these snakes. I love black and white. Like, I love Exantic, but I also love the pastel. I don't know why, but I do. So anyway, shout out to you already know ball pythons. Matt Yates, man. Incredible guy. I see you, brother. You produces amazing stuff. Y'all go check out his morph market. Ball and hand pythons, man. I think that this brother definitely needs some more attention. Go check him out, man. Producing amazing snakes. And last but not least, King's Reptiles 2021. Shout out to them, man. Husband and wife couple producing amazing snakes and boas. Give them some love. And also, man, go follow Michaela's farms. Check her out, man. She's doing incredible things on YouTube, man. Now, this is gonna be a epic podcast. But before we start, you already know what we got to do. So, we gotta.
Whoa. Big reptile talk. Yeah, we working. Big reptile talk. When it comes to talking about snakes, yeah, love that we got for them effects, yeah. Big reptile talk. Let's talk about reptiles. Yeah, big reptile talk. Let's talk about reptiles.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. Everybody in the chat, I appreciate you guys for showing up. And of course, to the guest, this is a legend right here. He don't need no introduction, man. Mr. Ozzy, how you doing today, sir?
What's up, Derek?
Man, excited to have you here. Now, before we start, man, I need you to do something for me. Do like this for me. Flex right quick. Flex. And I'm having you do that, man, because 20 plus years in the game, not too many people can say that, man. Like, how's that feeling? A 20 plus year run.
It feels good, man. And the crazy thing is, I still love it. I still love the game. I still enjoy working with my animals. So sincerely, I feel blessed. I feel lucky because not a lot of people have that, man.
20 plus years now. This is a major flex too. 20 plus years. Let me give 20,000 back to my customers. How did that make you feel, man?
It feels good, man. I heard a quote on a podcast. I forget which quote I said in it, and somebody said, "If you think money can't buy happiness, you haven't given away enough yet." So, truly, it feels good to be able to give back and contribute. So that's a big thing for me now. I'm doing 10%, giving back 10% of my earnings annually. last year was the first time I ever did that, and it's something that I plan to do for the rest of my life. So
and not just that, I've been watching you. You just gave you raised a whole bunch of money for a hospital. Let's talk about that. But real quick,
yeah,
actually, before we talk about that, I'm gonna tell you a story. A lot of people know I'm a nurse. They're like, oh, why you become a nurse? And I tell people it's an easy way to get into heaven. Like God has to let me into heaven.
I like that. I like that.
Like God has to let me into heaven because I'm taking care of people. So my question to you is, you raise this money for this hospital. Let's talk about that. How did that make you feel? And it's like God has to let Ozzy into heaven now. Like he's raising money for hospitals.
Yeah. So I used to work in the medical industry too, and I used to work at DeWitt Army Hospital Medical Center in Virginia. And I used to work in a lab. I was a lab technician, doing medical lab testing. But part of the medical lab training is phlebotomy. So you got to learn how to draw blood. That's the first thing they put you through. And it weeds out like 60% of the, students. But I was really good at drawing blood. So whenever they had a difficult draw, they would call me in. And the difficult drawers are usually really old people or cancer patients who get their blood drawn weekly because they have a lot of scar tissue. You're a nurse. So they used to call me in, and I used to have to go in sometimes and draw blood for these pediatric cancer patients. And that always stuck with me, man. And so I always donated to St. Jude's. But this past year, I decided to try to raise $50K. And by the way, that charity is still open. I've donated over $20,000 in sales to that myself. And then other people contributed another, I think we're at $34,000 right now. The goal is to hit 50,000. So St. Jude's, if you don't know about St. Jude's is a nonprofit hospital that caters to kids with cancer and other life-threatening diseases. And, anybody who knows someone who's gone through cancer, fighting cancer, it's really, really tough on the entire family. And then I have to worry about money and expenses and paying for treatments. On top of all of that, it's just an added burden. So I have mad love and support for St. Jude's Hospital. It felt really, really good to do that last year. And I hope to do more in the future. And it's kind of what motivates me and keeps me hungry. Just being motivated just for personal greed, it doesn't last long, man. That will run out. You'll lose motivation. So you got to have a strong why. And that's definitely one of my strong whys is, contribution, giving back. So that's what's up.
I love that. Like this guy is selfless, humble. He's giving back. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. Like when you get to heaven and God is judging you, if anything goes down, you just say, "Come on, God, 50K to St. Jude. Come on, Jesus."
And I feel like I'm already in heaven, honestly, man. So I just feel blessed. I feel lucky. I wanted to give something back to my customers, people that have been supporting me, because without people purchasing from me, I wouldn't be here doing this and doing what I love and living a life that I'm living right now. So
I agree. It's so selfless, so humble. I love it. Now I'm going to show a picture, and I'm going somewhere with this. Okay, I want to show this picture, and I want to talk about it because I'm going somewhere with it. So when I was growing up, everybody loved the Power Rangers. You said when you seen them unite, it was going down. The Blue Ranger, the Black Ranger, the Red Ranger, the Yellow Ranger. When you seen them unite, it was about to get serious. So when you was growing up, and trust me, I'm going somewhere with this. Who was like those superheroes that when they united, you knew it was about to get real? Trust me, I'm going somewhere with this too.
And when I was a kid,
yes,
it probably was Transformers.
Yeah. What about was you when you was a kid? Was it Captain Planet too? Or no, that was me.
Captain Planet.
That was me. Okay. Now I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
Now, when you see these people unite, I hit you up. I'm like, hey, Ozzy, I'd love to get you on the pod. You're like, I'm busy, man, these days. So of course I follow a lot of the big dogs, and I see the Power Rangers unite. I see Billy. I see AEP. I see Cusco, Barchek. I see Kabelka, and then I see this guy. So I'm like, what in the world? The Power Rangers had a meeting in Canada. Like, talk about this trip, man. If you can give us a behind the.
That was a few years ago. That was a fun trip. We went up for the show, but Billy invited a bunch of people over to his facility. And that was for the Toronto show. That was a fun trip. We had a really, really good time. That's where I first met Cusco. That's where I first met Miguel. It was funny as shit. We went to dinner and Miguel was like, dude, why do you block me? And I'm like, I don't even know you. Like, it was funny as hell. And yeah, he was like, yeah, you blocked me on Instagram. And I'm like, I don't even know how to block people on Instagram. Because at the time, I was trying to block people on Instagram, but I didn't know how. Because I'm not a tech person. I don't spend a lot of time on social media. So it was funny. So they pulled up my Instagram and I had one person blocked. And it was Miguel. It was funny as shit. And I don't know what he did or how I blocked him or if it was a mistake. I don't know, man, till this day. But yeah, I met Miguel and Cusco. We hung out, had a really good time, and yeah, good dudes.
Oh, I thought that was recent. I said, "Oh, Ozzy was he was traveling because he's in Canada." I said, "Okay." I said, and when I see
years ago, yeah, I need to get back up there, man. I haven't been up there in a while, but I need to get back up there. That was a fun show.
When I seen these pictures, I'm like, man, this almost feel like this is like the Power Rangers of Ball Python. I was like, damn, like this is
there was a lot of breeders there. It was yeah, it was cool. It was a good time, and the show was epic. The show was fun.
That's hilarious, man. He said, "Why you block me?" I didn't block you, but he did block you. That's hilarious, man. Shout out to AEP, man. Good guy, good guy. Now, it's 2023. You've been killing it. You've been doing so much, man. What are some of your goals for this year, if you don't mind me asking?
My goals for this year right now is to, again, that 10% give back. I have some health goals. I've been really, really spending a lot of time and effort on my health and well-being, and just lost a ton of weight last year. So I'm gonna run a half marathon this year. I stopped running like in high school, so I just turned 53. So to be running a half marathon when I'm 53, that's epic. So I already started training. I'm up to 8 miles right now. What else? As far as the business go and as far as the snakes go, things have slowed down. There's a potential recession coming. So right now I'm just kind of hunkering down, cutting costs and just preparing for this downturn, because it might be short-lived or it might be a long thing. I just don't know.
Right.
I've never seen the dynamics that are in place right now in the past. Usually we would have like a crash in the market, or we would have like a recession or something. But I don't think we've ever had the two at the same time. So this is a unique situation. But stuff is still selling, stuff's still moving. But I just think there's a lot of price uncertainty right now. And whenever there's price uncertainty, that's the one thing that always precludes a slowdown. It's price uncertainty. And I think when people start doing 40% sales and buy one, get one free and all this crap, what that does is it creates uncertainty in prices. I just had a client of mine's texting me today, and she's like, Oz, I don't know how to price these animals. I have this snake. I looked on Morph Market. I see one for 1,000 and I see one for 350. That's price uncertainty. Prices are all over the place. And when that happens, investors are the first ones to stop buying. Hobbyists, they still buy, but investors start to tap the brakes because they don't really know what the true value of anything is. So all of these crazy sales and all of this 40% off. That's why you'll never see me do that. You at 20 plus years, you've never seen me do a Black Friday sale. I don't do that shit. I value my animals. I watch the market, and I just try to price my animals fair. And if they're priced fairly, then I'm not doing any sales, man. I'll just, feed animals, take care of the animals until they sell. So my goal for this year is definitely just to hunker down, to navigate whatever's coming, because there's opportunity in every situation, and I'm always looking for that opportunity, man. I got my shark fin on, and there's blood in the water.
I hate to do it to you, but I get hey, that collection. I got 200. I got 300. That's how it's supposed to be though. Like when it's in a recession, like you hunker down, and when people get out of it, you it's like stocks. When they high, when they drop and they go low, you buy low, sell high, right?
Yep. And you gotta always structure your business or your collection in a way to withstand whatever's coming. And when times are good, like you can't, like I've been talking and writing about this, and people shrug it off until it's here, until it's happening, and then are like, oh shit, because when the money's good, everybody's expanding, everybody is, and it's always really, really good right before the crash. Like that's when it's really, really good. And the past couple of years, man, sales have been insane. And if you haven't been like putting some cash aside, investing in other things, that's why I'm always trying to educate people financially and stuff like that on my Patreon. That's primarily what I talk about. If you're not taking some of that cash when the money is good and redirecting it so you have some additional income streams, then you're going to get caught with your pants down. And unfortunately, a lot of people tend to expand, build these big facilities and have a lot of overhead. And then when things slow down, they may not be prepared to, withstand that downturn. So it'll be interesting. And when you're not, when the money slows down and you're not making money hand over fist, if you don't have passion for what you're doing, you're not going to want to do it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because if the main motivator is cash,
right?
Cash slows down, especially when you're used to this amount and now you're making this amount. It's a psychological adjustment. So it's going to be interesting to see, but it's all good, man.
Right. Ozzy dropping them gems, man, to diversify. When the money, you're not making that money, be invested otherwhere. Ozzy done bought neighborhoods. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Not yet.
You're on the way, though. You're on the way. You're doing your thing. You're investing in real estate. I love what you got going on, man. Now, I want to have a little fun. I want to give you a hot seat question, just to have a little fun. Let's say you got pulled over by the cop. Of course, this is never going to happen, but hypothetically, let's say they said, you know what, Mr. Ozzy, sir, your tint's too dark, your tags is out of whack, your driver's license is suspended. They said, look, Ozzy, the ticket is $800, but I like ball pythons. So if you let me have a ball python, a normal Ozzy ball python, I'll let you go, or you want the ticket. Which way you going?
I'll give them a normal.
Okay.
All good.
Hey, I would too, to get out of that ticket.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
I love it. Now, you've been in this game 20 plus years, and we're gonna talk about the Orange Dream. But right now, I want to talk about who were some of those OGs that came up with you, that came along up, right next to you, that kind of inspired you. Did you come up, with a lot of the OGs?
I didn't come up with them, but a lot of them did inspire me. Man, there was a lot of, well, it wasn't a lot compared to today. There was a lot. It wasn't as big as it is today, but you got Ralph Davis. I used to spend a lot of time on his forum. I hate to say Pete Call, but Pete Call, because of all of the drama going on with Pete Call. But I got my first morph from Pete Call, Tracy Barker, uh, Dan and Colette Sutherland, my man Ian G from Outback Reptiles was hands down the most influential person in helping me get established. He's the one that gave me the Orange Dream. Um, he was a really, really good friend. He gave me a lot of advice. We did a lot of business together. Um, and he definitely played a critical part in me coming up. But yeah, Ralph Davis, Kevin, Brian Barchek, like all of those guys, they they were doing things that I just never even considered to be a possibility, and seeing them do it and seeing the cool animals that they created inspired me, and helped. Without them, I probably would have never started this thing.
Now,
But yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize.
No.
Back in the day, a lot of those OGs like Ralph Davis, Kevin, I hate to say it, like you said, Peter Call and Ian. When you were coming up in the game, were they kind of like they inspired you, but like when you had questions, were you able to reach out to those OGs and be like, hey, I got a question on this more, if I got a question on this? Were they pretty forthcoming and helping you with your career?
Ian was. You couldn't, like, those guys were getting hit up left and right, so I never would just like reach out to them and ask them questions. Ralph Davis shared a lot of information on his forums. He had a forum, and he would like come in and like put information, pictures, videos up, and he would talk about what he's doing. So he was very sharing with a lot of information, a lot of tips on how to breed and stuff like that.
I love that.
Dan and Colette Sutherland actually did a video on breeding ball pythons. They had a video. It was on a CD. Some of you young people probably don't even know what that is, but it was on a CD. So there was a lot of information being shared, and there was a lot of hush hush. And Brian was always crazy cool. Like Brian would talk to you at shows and stuff like that, and if you had a question, I'm sure he would answer and give you advice. But again, these guys were swamped. They were busy. They were selling a lot of snakes, so
right,
it's not something that was feasible for them.
Right now, I love that you're here, man, because I want to, we know what you've done, but I want to go back in time, take a time trip and get some of that history. Before the Orange Dream came about, what were some of the, just like a two-part question. What were some of the first projects that you ever made? And what was your first real investment where you're like, hey, this is a good chunk of change. Like, bam, I want it.
So the first investment was a cost train albino boa that I bought from Pete for $1,200. I think I was working as a security guard then, so I didn't have a lot of money. I was working my way through school, and I put that $1,200 on a credit card, and dude, I was in love with that snake. That was the first one. And then as far as the ball pythons go, my first two mutations was a male pastel and a male het albino, and now that's basically how I started my collection. My first clutch was a clutch of pastels. I pastel to a normal. I got 3 pastels. So all you people who are starting out saying, man, I'm so far behind, you got to understand that, it's not where you're at. It's if you stick with it and just keep growing your collection. But that's what I started out with, man. I used to make pos hats. I used to breed my het albino to a bunch of normals to make pos hats and raise up the pos hats so I could start making some albinos.
Right.
Which was selling for like $7,500 back then.
Jesus.
And I didn't have $7,500. Yeah.
I love that. Now, you're talking about pastels, man. Like everybody knows my 2 favorite morphs is the Xanthic morph and the pastel morph. I like the pastel. So I started doing research. I don't know if this is true or not, but I researched and I researched and I researched. And I don't know if you know if this is true or not, but I traced the pastel all the way back to Greg Graziani and Kevin from Nerd. Is it true that they created the first pastels? I think that he said he called it Jungle Pastel, and when Greg Graziani produced it, he said he dropped the jungle, just started to calling it pastel. So he actually made the first. Is that true?
Yeah, Greg Graziani. Yep.
That's crazy. That's
And
crazy.
Kevin was known for the spider and the ghost. Like Kevin was one of the first people to start getting into ball python morphs, and he couldn't give away hypos. Like he couldn't give them away. Nobody wanted them, but he just kept at it. And Kevin is a visionary, so he saw the potential in the ball pythons long before anyone else. And then Greg Graziani was just, man, he was just lucky. The leopard popped out. He got some animals from Pete, and then he produced the leopards. So I think he was the first one to produce leopards, or they may have been produced by Pete, but Pete didn't know what he had. But Graziani also popped out the leopards.
Right. Graziani, man, I've been trying to get a hold of him for the long. He better quit playing, because I'm gonna pull up in Florida and I'm gonna put a camera in his face.
Yeah,
Come
man.
on.
You heard about his accident.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So he's been kind of laying low. I haven't talked to him or seen him in a long time, man. But I hear he's doing good.
Right. Now, I do my research. I'm a fan. I'm an Ozzy Boids fan. I do my research. Now, I know that Ian gave you the Orange Dream, but I want to get some history on it. Before you actually called it the Orange Dream, did you call it anything else? Did you say, like, I don't like this is like the sherbet, or you just instantly knew it was the Orange Dream?
Nah, I kind of came up with the name. I was with Brian Bodie from Bodie Reptiles, and I brought him into my snake room, and I was like, dude, there's something up with this snake. This is not a normal. And he was sitting there looking at it, and I was just joking around. I was like, this snake's gonna make me $1 million. I mean, at the time I had like a melamine rack, Rubbermaid tubs, handmade rack. Times were tough, but stuff was on newspaper. It was way back in the day. I actually posted a picture of the original Orange Dream on newspaper a couple of years ago. But anyway, so I was showing him the snake, and I was like, dude, this snake's gonna make me $1 million. Just messing around. And he told me, keep dreaming.
Wow.
Like, that's what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it the Orange Dream. And that's how I came up with the name. It was just BSing around, and it was definitely orange and banded. Actually, initially I had it labeled as a bandit, because when Ian gave it to me, he was like, here's a nice banded female. And she was super reduced. She was banded. So back then, whenever you get a reduced animal, we used to call them banded. Coming from Africa, we had banded, we had stripes, we had the granites, we had the black backs, when you get all of those normals coming in, you be like sifting through and trying to find cool animals. But once she shed and started eating, I was like, dude, this is not a normal bandit. And that's when I started calling it the Orange Dream from that point on. And I'd be damned if that snake didn't make me $1 million. So,
dude, like, to me, like, that's the biggest flex. Like, now I got to reach out to Brian. I think you said Brian Bone. Like, for somebody's boat, yeah, I got to reach out, because he said this thing's gonna make me $1 million, and he said keep dreaming. He was like, that's it, the Orange Dream. That is hilarious. I love that.
But I was just joking. Like, I didn't really believe that, but
now
you say it and it manifests. You know what they say about that. Say it out loud, and it comes true.
Right. Now I want to get some history on it. Now, the Orange Dream, this can be kind of like a long question. I put, did you know what you had? Did you ID it? Did you call someone? You said you called Brian Baudet. How long did you sit on it? And who was the first Orange Dream customer? Do you remember?
Damn. I sat on it for years, and I started making it, and I proved it out, I think, like in 2004 to be genetic. to be a dominant. I wasn't sure if it was if it had a super form at the time. But who bought the first Orange Dream? I mean, I don't even remember who bought the first one, honestly. I remember the first big breeder that really, really started talking it up. That was Mark Mandick. Um, he was the first one that like legitimately saw the potential in it and started talking about it on all the podcasts. And I'm so excited about this project. And then a couple of years later, I hit the super. So once I hit the super, that was it. It was over. That's when people started, purchasing and buying animals, and that's when I couldn't produce enough. But yeah, for a long time, man, for years, nobody didn't want to touch it.
What?
Yep.
That's crazy. Yeah, I need y'all to understand how big of a flex that is for him to be able to say one snake made him $1 million. That's big. That's big time stuff. I love that.
Probably made me a couple million, if not more. And I honestly, it kind of put me on the map. So I think I owe everything to that original female, because it really, really helped differentiate me from the crowd and put me on the map. And then the combos, like I'm still cranking out some Orange Dream stuff that's just mind-boggling and blowing people's minds, And just when people want it to go away, people want to like, dude, I'm so tired of the, Ozzy with all this Orange Dream shit, and then I just hit him with another one. So that gene is, I mean, that was a blessing to have that snake fall into my lap, because the genetics with that gene is just, it's freaking amazing, and it's good with any, like you could combine it with anything, and it pops. So it's a very, very dynamic gene, and it's really, really cool to work with.
Right. I love that. I love that. Now, with your career, it's been 20 plus. Actually, we'll answer a hot seat question first. So a hot seat question, just for shits and giggles. If your ball pythons could talk, what do you think they would tell you?
If my ball pythons could talk,
what's one thing you think they say?
Dude, leave me alone. Like, leave me alone, man. Why you keep opening my tub? Like, leave me alone.
I done did enough, man. Get out of here. Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. Like now I want you to think about this and give me your opinion on it. The Orange Dream. Shout out to Fries Critters. The Orange Dream. We know that it puts you on the map. So my question is, with your career being 20 plus years, do you feel like the Orange Dream came at just the right time? Do you feel like it came late in your career, or do you feel like it came a little too early?
I think it came at the right time. I mean, I think it came at the right time, because I was at a place in my life where I could, it wasn't my main income stream. So I really, it was purely passion. I was, and if I was just focused on money, I probably would not have had the time or the patience or the space for the Orange Dream. Because like I said, man, it took a good 7, 8 years before people started buying it. And it took 10 years for it to really, really start to sell and demonstrate that it was worth my while. But it was just a lot of patience. So I think it came right on time. I think it was meant to be.
Yeah, I love that. Orange Dream, the king of the Orange Dream. Now, we were just talking about, the recessions, and I had a question about the recession, and that's even if there is one. So, JKR, shout out to JKR, the king, one of the kings of ball pythons. Like a month or 2 months ago, if you watch his Instagram, he's putting out videos. He's like, hey, ball python recession tip 1, tip 2, tip 3. He's like, hey, this is what you do if you want to make it in a ball python recession. Now, my question to you is, in any market, do you think a reset, like you need a recession, like every market needs to reset? Do you think a ball python recession is a good thing?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Okay, yeah, because I think it is too. Because like you said, you can come in and get good deals on snakes, and that's how you get, you strengthen what you got. Is when that recession comes, buy that stuff that strengthens what your collection, and you can start making just killer animals, right?
Yeah, it's a great time to be building your collection. It's a great time to be picking up animals because one, there's a lot of inventory available, more than usual, and two, the prices have really come down. Like prices have adjusted significantly. I'm telling you, 2 years ago, stuff was just flying off the shelf, and there was, stuff was selling for top dollar. We were jacking up prices on stuff because it was selling so well. Now, if you go read my blog post, and we actually did a live talking about this on my Patreon, probably like last year. I was talking about this, and what happens is, you get the hardcore passionate breeders that create the excitement. Kevin was breeding ball pythons for years when people didn't want to have anything to do with it, And the same thing like me with the Orange Dream. It's the passion, the guys with the passion that put the time and effort in to create the excitement. Once they generate that excitement, then that creates the frenzy and stuff starts selling and the hobby starts to blow up. Now, when that happens, then the investors take notice. They're like, hold up, these cats over here are making some serious coin. So that FOMO kicks in and they're like, yo, I need to invest in some ball pythons. And they start investing. So that's when the money is really, really rolling in because you got the hobbyists, you got the investors, you got everybody like just coming in and buying up snakes, and everybody wants snakes, and you're just making money hand over fist. But eventually, all of those investors are going to start cranking out babies. And it's the investors that are the ones that are going to, 40% off and 50% off and start like undercutting the market to try to like blow stuff out and increase, mass produce stuff so that they can make more money. And, and it creates that bubble and then it just bursts. And that's where we're at now. So you got more supply than you do demand. And you got all of these people that are producing and selling ball pythons that really don't give a shit about ball pythons. Their main motivation is the money. And don't get me wrong, the investors are great for the market because when they're getting in, it's great because the money is good. But when they're sitting on a ton of animals and they have all this overhead and stuff is not selling, they just start cutting prices. And then you get the price uncertainty. Like, how much is this snake worth? Is it a $9,000 snake or is it a $2,000 snake? And when you don't know, people tend to just freeze, and then the investors start to go away and things slow down. And then you have the great reset. And that's where we're at. We're going to see a reset. And once all the investors get out, the hardcore hobbyists are going to still be there. They're still going to be working their projects, making their combos. And then when they start cranking out those really, really cool combos again, the cycle is just going to start all over again.
Right. I love that. Y'all better pay attention. This is knowledge, and it's important. Super, super amazing knowledge. Now, I got two hot seat questions. I want to have a little fun. Since we were talking about JKR, I feel like you and JKR are the kings of ball pythons. So just for shits and giggles, have you ever beat JKR to first off, let me say that I know that your philosophy is work with what you love. It's never a race. You're never trying to beat anybody, but it's work with what you love. But just for shits and giggles, have you ever, and I want just like vice versa, have you ever beat JKR to a project, and has JKR ever beat you to a project?
Oh
You're just
yeah,
like,
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
and
I'm
you're just
sure.
like, damn, and y'all like y'all still laugh
Oh,
about
all
it to
the
this day.
time. Yeah, all the time. But I don't really like. I'm not in a race. I get a lot of inspiration from Justin and a lot of other breeders too. But he produces a lot of really, really cool shit, and it just kind of it inspires and excites me because if I see something that's really, really cool, I'll pursue that project even more. And I usually put my own little twist on it, but definitely, I mean, the amount of combos that he cranks out, it's hard not to be inspired based on the stuff that he produces. But I'm always looking primarily to get ideas for my own projects. And if I see you do something really, really cool, I'll be like, all right, okay, I could work with that. That gene combo comes together really, really nice. I'm gonna put my own twist on it, and I'm gonna stack this gene and that gene and this gene and see what it does. That's the game.
Okay, I like that. I feel that. I feel that. Now, JKR, Ozzy, kings of the hobby, man. Shout out to John Feely, man. Great guy right there. He said he's got a question. How does Ozzy structure buying a collection and move the animals he doesn't want to work with?
How do I say that again?
He said, I'll leave it up. I'm sorry.
Okay, I see it. What's up, John? How does Ozzy structure buying a collection and move the animals? So I've never bought a collection, but Jax. Sorry, man, my dog is driving me crazy.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. So I've never bought a collection, but what I would do is, I would focus on whatever projects I'm working and just, hold back the animals that, that fit my project and sell the rest. Make sure you bring them in and you make sure they're clean and they're eating and they're healthy, and then post them and sell them.
Right, there you go, John. Great information. Now, last hot seat question, then we'll get back into the podcast. Hot seat question. Now, we all know there's lots of societies out there. You got the Illuminati, the Skull and Bones, all kind of societies out there. If you was to make a reptile secret society,
come here. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Take your time. Take your time.
If I were to make a reptile society,
if you were to make I said, like, we all know about the Illuminati, the Skull and Bones, all those secret societies out there. But if Ozzy was to make a reptile secret society, what would the name of the secret society be? This is the elite.
Oh man, a secret society, like
reptile secret society.
I don't know, ball crushers.
I like that. Ball crushers. And this is the elite of the. I like that. That's funny. I love that. Now, did you need to let your dog out?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I love that. I love that. Reptile Secret Society, ball crushers. Now, one last the one last hot seat question. We'll get back into it. Now, we all know you're big for that motto, shut up and breed. And I love that motto. This is like a two-part. Actually, it's not two. Shut up and breed. How did that come about? And my question is, who was the first person that you just was like, shut up and breed, man?
Oh, that's funny. I'm not gonna call out any names because you know what? I'm not a big fan of the drama.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of drama in the industry. There's always those drama queens, and there was just a lot of drama, a lot of BS, a lot of haters. So it's just a lot of BS going on, and that just like I wish these cats would just shut up and breed their damn snakes and just focus on their animals, man. Because I'm just saying, just shut up and breed, do your thing. It amazes me how you'll have guys doing what they love, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're just bitching and moaning constantly and complaining like they don't know how to be happy. I think we're some of the luckiest people in the world, honestly. Like, so how are you not happy? How are you not content? Why are you always on social media bitching and moaning and complaining and trying to, slander this person or hate on that person? It's just ridiculous, man. Just shut up, breed your snakes, enjoy your snakes, and be happy.
Right. I love that. Shout out to Boss to you, Big Gavin in the chat. I can imagine Ozzy doing shut up and breed, man. Now I got another one for you. Now you got to start using this one. You like to like I said, I do my research. You like to keep things simple, so I got another one for you. You ready?
Go ahead.
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say stupid. That's kind of like abrasive, but
what is that? Oh, you mean for the
your motto.
hashtag?
Yeah. Kiss.
I definitely try to keep things simple. So I kind of like that. I like that.
I love it. Now, you've had a career that has spanned, 20 plus years. Is there anything that you haven't done, or let me reword that? What are some projects that you haven't gotten into that you do want to get into?
Projects that I haven't gotten into that I do want to get into. I think I'm into everything that I want to be into, honestly, right now. There's nothing out there that I want that I haven't went out and picked up. So I think I have pretty much everything right now.
Right. All right. That's what's up. That's what's up, to be blessed to say that, you got everything that you're working with, everything that you want to work with. That's amazing, man. Now, we've had upwards of 60 plus people in here, which is incredible. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Now I want you to tell them, you've been so successful. So give me like your top 3 business strategies that, that you said, what, I'm going to do these 3 things and it's going to make me, be successful.
All right. So one is just always be on the up and up with people, treat people fairly. 2 is always upgrade my genetics, always move forward. Never focus on what I don't have or what the next breeder has produced. Just focus on my own collection and making sure that my collection is progressing forward. So the upgrade method that I wrote about or I posted about, I think it's on YouTube. I think I did a video and shared my upgrade method. That has worked really, really well for me. And then the third thing I think is, and is very, very critical, is I've always kept my collection small enough that I always enjoy my animals. Like there were times where especially when I opened up the store and I had a warehouse, where it became a little stressful. When I was starting to just hate it, and but I was able to dial it back pretty quick. So I've always been really, really good about keeping my collection small.
Right.
Because again, to be passionate about something for 20 plus years, it's not easy.
Right. I love that. Now, and we'll talk about that in just a second. I want you to teach it, like, being new breeders that want them to be able to come here and learn, and you've been doing it for so long. So I want you to, like, is there a way to, like, let's say you're keeping 600-700 snakes or 300 snakes, 400 snakes. How do you balance, making sales versus your feeding bill? How do you keep that to where your feeding bill doesn't overtake your sales? You know what I mean?
I've always focused on high end, stuff. So the profit margins are insane. Like I could produce 1 clutch of eggs that'll pay for my feeding bill for the entire year. So it's never been an issue.
Nice.
And I set up my own facility now. So, it does cost to keep that facility up and running, but I like having my own source of rodents.
Right, breeding your own rodents is always a way to cut costs. King Cardano said, "Can you talk about how you feel about the weirdo gene?"
The weirdo gene is it's interesting. It appears to be a dominant gene. I don't think it's a super form. I think it's just a straight up dominant gene. I like it, playing around with it, and waiting to see what else it does.
Right. Shout out to my Animal House, man. Thanks for that super chat, man. Y'all go follow my Animal House. Now I gotta tell you something, man. I was disappointed, man. I was disappointed, Dom. Do you want me to tell you why?
Absolutely. I want to hear why.
Dave Kaufman put out this movie, Ball Pythons in the Wild. Now I wanted to see Ozzy in Africa with Dave Coffin, but I didn't see that. I wanted to see Ozzy hands and knees in the dirt pulling ball pythons out the burrows.
Yeah, that would have been epic, man. I would have loved to have taken that trip, but he went. I think he went in the summertime or late spring. It's just really hard to get away that time of the year. But that video was awesome, man. I mean, Dave, kudos to Dave. He did a really, really good job. And yeah, I was not disappointed with that sponsorship. I'm glad I sponsored him. And he did not disappoint. He delivered. He delivered.
Definitely a good movie, man. When he makes that, because I think he just did the Cobra one, like saving cobras in the wild, I think. But when he makes that second round of Africa, I need to see Ozzy on the back of the truck riding through to get some ball pythons.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Now, and I won't keep you too much longer because, like I said, I know you're busy. But I'm such a huge fan, so enlighten me. Take me on a history trip. What was your first ball python?
Just a normal ball python.
A normal ball python. I can't imagine that.
Yeah, just a normal ball python. I bought it from Havre de Grace for $35.
Awesome. I love that. Now, I am curious, man. You have two amazing daughters. How do they feel about the snakes, man? Do they like the snakes?
Yeah, they're cool with the snakes. Like, my youngest daughter is definitely more interested. She likes to like hold a snake or whatever, and she gets attached to some of them. She fell in love with one that I sold to somebody in Japan, and it was here for months, and she would play with that snake every day. And then she was like, "Daddy, don't ship this snake." So I was like, "Baby, that's a really good customer, and he already paid for the snake." So, but she likes the snakes. The older one, she's cool with the snakes. They both help me out with the business. They love the business. They see what I've done with it. So I think they appreciate all of the time and effort, and they like the snakes that, they think they're beautiful. But the oldest one is not into it.
Now, I agree, Mac. He said you have great boas. Well, I agree. Has amazing boas. Now, I want to talk about kids for a second. And I have a son. He's 2 years old, and I can't wait till you get older because the punishment I'm not using the belt. Having kids and being a reptile owner, having kids. Do you know the next punishment for my son when he gets older?
Clean the rodents.
I'm sick of it. Go in there and clean all the cages. Go in there. I'm sick of you know what? Go in there and clean the cages.
Hey, if he's like me, that won't be a punishment.
Right. He'll probably end up loving it. They're loving it, man. Now, just for shit. Hey, Fungus Queen. What's up, Fungus Queen? Just for shits and giggles, man. One thing nobody knows about Ozzy, man. Give us one thing nobody knows. You've never told anybody.
One thing that nobody knows about me. I don't know, man. I tell everybody everything.
Oh no.
I do. I tell everybody everything. I don't really have a lot of secrets, but one thing that nobody knows about me, I don't know, man.
All right, well, I'll give you a different question. You've been doing this for so long. Do you have any crazy expo stories?
X what?
Expo stories. Reptile expo stories? Give me one crazy reptile expo story.
All right. I give you one story. Wow. Some of these stories I'm not even going to tell, but I'll give you one story. One night, actually, I think it was me and Brian Bodie. We were at the Daytona show. And back then, I never set up. I would just go hang out at the shows. But we were at the show, and we were out drinking all night. And we were coming back to the hotel. And it was like 3 a.m. And we were like, yo, let's go for a swim. So, swimming in Daytona 3 a.m. is not safe because there's like a ton of sharks and shit. But we were drinking. So we were like, we're going to go for a swim. So we went upstairs, throwing our trunks, and we came running down, and we're running across the boardwalk. And there's like a bunch of people out there drinking and stuff, like hanging out. And we're running, and people are like, where y'all going? And we were like, we're going for a swim. So we're running on the beach. I turn around and there's like 20 people like running behind us, taking off their clothes. And it was crazy. So it was like 20 people in the water swimming. And this dude comes up to me and starts talking to me. He was drunk as shit. It was Brock Wagner. And that's how me and Brock Wagner, we don't talk anymore, but back then that's how we met. And it was like 3 a.m. in the ocean swimming with the sharks.
That is a crazy way to meet somebody. Man, I'm jealous, man. That sounds like it's just an incredible
It used to be a lot of fun. Yeah, it used to be a lot of fun.
I love it.
Not very smart. Not very smart, but
Gavin says you have a lot of old school stories.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. Some of this stuff is yeah.
Now, we got a lot of breeders here. I want people, like I said, to come here and have fun and learn a little bit. So give me like, what do you think is like the biggest breeder misconception that you're just like, nope, when it comes to breeding, that's not true?
The biggest breeder misconception.
Yeah.
A female has to be 1,500 grams for her to breed. I think that's a big misconception. And I think that applies to a young female. But I think if you have like a 4-year-old female, she doesn't have to be 1,500 grams to breed.
Okay. Great knowledge, man. Now, I got to ask this, Ron Seeley said Derek needs to put some vacation and hit up the expos. Man, I'm about to, man. Now, I got to ask this, what's next? You had a 20+ year career, and you've done so much stuff, and I'm not saying that it's over with, but what's next for Ozzy? Like, what do you? And I think I was watching Sean's podcast where you said, you want to just start getting real heavy into the puzzle, right?
Oh, definitely. I'm already heavy into the puzzle. And to be honest with you, I got like a lot of other stuff that's going on. So I'm just I'm trying to keep my collection tight, but I'm also looking for ways to free up my time. So what's next for Ozzy? I don't know, man. I definitely want to. I'm doing some other, getting into some other business ventures. Definitely growing my real estate portfolio, but I'm looking to potentially in this recession maybe invest in some other businesses, some business acquisition. I like doing stuff like that.
Right.
But the snakes, I'm going to continue to refine and continue to do what I do, which is just produce really, really cool combos and focus on the genetics and the genes, right? And try to avoid all of the distractions. So
right. I love that. Now, can I give you something that I like to see you do?
Yep.
Shout out to Jerome, man. What's good, Jerome? What's up, Lecca? YT Vince said soon Ozzy's gonna make the Ultra Orange Dream.
Ultra Mel?
That's what he said. Ultra Orange Dream. That's all he said.
Yeah. Who knows, man?
Now this is what I like you to do. Now I know you got the real estate. I know you got the ball pythons on lock. But I'm gonna show you something. I'd love to see let me see. I love to see Ozzy Boids enclosures with that man's face on it right there. I'd buy it. I think you could compete with. You laughing, but I think you could sell them. I think you blow Vision Cage out of the water because you're that determined.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. That you got to understand the ball python market is great, but it's a niche market. Like it's very, very small, and I think the existing cage breeders have it on lock. Like I think Freedom Breeder and ARS, they're doing a good job.
Ozzy, don't give them no credit because we need you in this. We need you in the cage game. You don't say that. You say Freedom Breeder is okay, but look out for the Ozzy cage. That man's face right there on smack dab in the middle of the cage. I buy it. I'd be like Ozzy enclosure. What? And you can put an Orange Dream in it too. Shit, I buy it.
Yeah.
Now, man, you gave us an amazing hour. I got a couple more questions, man, because like I said, I want to be able to get you on down the road again, man. Couple hot seat questions. again, we talked about the snakes. Amazing, amazing. Shout out to both of you. Say great show, brothers. Just for shits and giggles, weirdest inbox you ever got?
Oh, I sold a guy a snake the other day, and then he was like, "Hey Oz, can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Sure." And he sent me a list of 3 women. He was like, "Which of these women do you think is the hottest?" No, I'm not kidding. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna read it to you right now. He was like, "I know this sounds like a weird question, but it's for a good reason. If you were to have to choose between Holly Berry, Beyonce, or Carrie Fisher, which one would you choose?" So I get all kinds of shit. I get all kinds of craziness, but
You know what? That goes to show that man trusts your opinion. Like that's how much of a legend you are. Tell me what woman you want. I love that. I love that.
so I told him Holly Berry, hands down, because I've been in love with Holly Berry for a long time. So,
I
he
love
was
it.
he was like, not nice. Watch for a package in the mail in the next few days. So he sent me a package. I don't know what's gonna be in it, but it's gonna be Holly Berry related.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, so next time I send stickers, I gotta send that Holly Berry poster with it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Now, just for shits and giggles, hot seat question: what's the worst ball python name you ever heard?
See,
that you're just like, what?
You started to create some drama, but there's definitely some. There's definitely some terror. I don't want to pick on anybody, but I think the most notorious one, and Corey Woods will admit this too, was the Het Ready Xanthic. But I kind of understand how that came about, but because the Het Red is a codom and the Red Xanthic is a super, but at the time, I don't think Corey realized what he had, and he was calling it Het Red Xanthic. So, but there's some terrible names out there, but I'm not gonna throw people under the bus, man.
I love it. I love it. Now I got 2 more questions, and then I'm gonna let you go. We're gonna go backstage and talk for a second. You're such a visionary. You've been in this for so long. My question to you is, looking forward. Give me 1 second. In looking forward in the year 2025, do you think people will still be able to make money with ball pythons?
In what year?
2025, in the next couple years.
Absolutely. Yep. Ball pythons are freaking amazing, man. And I mean, you look at the koi industry. How long has the koi industry been going? And they continue to crank out some really beautiful koi, and they're upgrading their genetics and stuff like that. I think the same thing applies with the ball pythons. These are really, really cool animals. There will always be people who are passionate about ball pythons, breeding, collecting ball pythons. It's just, they're really, really cool animals. We'll have market cycles, but yeah, definitely. There's money being made right now. Like, everybody's talking about recession and blah, blah, blah. Maybe, Justin probably went from making $500K a month to $100K. Woohoo! Like, you know what I mean? So things have slowed down, but things are still selling. So there's still money to be made.
I love that. I love that. Now, we know that you're killing.
Oops.
I'm back. Sorry, somebody tried to call me. Don't call me. I'm on live now. Before we leave, Boids, man. Currently, right now, what are you working on? Because we know you got the ball pythons on lock. What are you doing with the Boids right now?
The Boids, I'm just trying to make some blood stuff. Nothing really, really crazy that I'm making for myself. Other than I did try to make some paradigm bloods, but I don't think that female is going to go. I'm also trying to make some white walkers, which are the IMG snows, IMG jungle snows. So we'll see if that female's grabbing right now. But again, man, boas are tough. But primarily, I'm moving towards some of the dwarf boas. I'm going to be primarily breeding dwarf boas, and I have some Colombian stuff that I need to put up and sell. Uh, just because I just want to do the leopard blood, VPIT Paz Leopard Project, and blood and some other Inca. I have some Inca stuff. So I'm just working with some of the dwarf boas right now.
Right. Now, White Walker, that sounds like something from Game of Thrones or Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings.
yeah. Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Oh man, you ain't
I
messing
didn't
around, Ozzy.
I didn't make up the name. That was Frank Martin. Yeah, talk to Frank Martin about that. I think it's a cool name though.
Man, you're not messing around. Man, this was an amazing. You gave us an amazing hour. I want to before we leave, I want to do one more thing. Brian Barczyk's been on the podcast, and he'll tell you can have the most amazing video, but if nobody clicks it and nobody will watch it, So I want to have a little fun. I want to make a thumbnail face. Are you down? All right. So on the count of three, I'm gonna make a face with you. We're gonna do it for my thumbnail when I post this. All right. So on the count of three, 1, 2, 3. I love it, man. Now, before we leave, man, everybody, this man doesn't need an introduction, but this is Ozzy, such an amazing guy. Go hit up his Morph Market Instagram. Before we leave, is there anything you want to address? Anything you want to talk about?
Yes, I'd like you to make your announcement, your big announcement.
Okay. So I'm on YouTube, and I'll be honest with you. Hey, shots KY Orchestra. I'm on YouTube and I make videos and I do live feedings, but I'm not starting February 1st. No more live feedings, man.
Yeah. And I we've had this discussion. I'm not judging you on it. I think it'd be a hypocrite for me to judge. I don't do them, but it is what it is. But congratulations, man. I think you're a talent. I think you're very charming. I think you got, nice personality. You're good on camera. So I wish you much success, and I think you're going to kill it.
Man, I can't wait. I want to be that. I'm trying to be a content creator, and it's just like, I'm going to make a video. If I wake my son up, he's just going to have to get up.
Yeah. Maybe you need to go to Africa and see some video.
Hey, if I hit up Ball Python, I'm like, hey, if I hit up Dave Kaufman, he said yes. I'm gonna say, honey, I got to go. I'm gonna be gone about a month. I'm going to Africa.
There you go.
Man, well, don't go anywhere. I want to go backstage and thank you, man. But first off, everybody in the chat, we had upwards of 60 plus people. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Shout out to Jerome, man. Y'all go give him a follow. Much love, my brother. This channel is looking up. I want to take my channel and just do so much positive stuff. No disrespect to anybody that does that stuff, but anyways, this is Big Reptile Talk. Freaking Ozzy, man. This was legend talk right here. Do you understand that? All right, I'm getting ready to put you backstage. Thank you so much. Don't go anywhere because I want to thank you backstage, okay?
Take care, everybody.
Awesome podcast, man. This is Big Reptile Talk, the place where we bring people in the hobby, chat with them, see what they got going on. We had upwards of 60 plus people, man. I appreciate you, everybody, for showing up. Shout out to Big E, man. Everybody that showed up, I appreciate you. Hope you tune in for the next episode. And until next time, man, you know what we got to do. This podcast is brought to you by Mile High Mutation. Shout out to him, man. Give him some love. Go check out his Instagram and Morph Market. It's producing amazing ball pythons. Shout out to my brother, Morph Ambitions, Eugene, creating some amazing snakes. Go definitely good guy. He's making mulch too, so go give him some love. Shout out to my guy Paul over at Large March Morse. He's got some amazing stuff. Go hit him up. Hey, shout out to Mike, man. MKL Exotics, great supporter of the channel. He's out in Canada making amazing hognose snakes. Shout out to my guy Fries, man. Such an amazing supporter of the channel. Y'all go hit up his Instagram. Tell him I sent you. Make sure you hit that follow button. Mad River Service and Rattery, definitely a big supporter of the channel. I appreciate you guys. They're producing amazing snakes and they make rats. Now, this guy right here, shout out to You Already Know Ball Pythons. Anybody will tell you, I love Exantic snakes. They're my favorite next to pastel. I love the dark. I love the light. So two of my favorite Morse. Matt Yates, man. Shout out to that guy. making amazing snakes, just gonna be doing some amazing stuff. Go check out his Instagram and Morph Market. I think this guy right here, Ball and Head Pythons, definitely needs a little love. Go ahead, he's producing some great snakes. He needs more attention, man. So go hit him up on Instagram, check out what he's doing. And of course, King's Reptiles 2021. I love them. It's his husband and wife doing their thing, making amazing snakes. Go check them out. They're making boas and ball pythons. You can't go wrong. And last but not least, we have an amazing, amazing honorary sponsor, Michaela's Farms. Y'all go give her some love, man. Until next time, this is Big Reptile Talk, and we out of here.
Whoa.